Okay. Live on Zoom. Live on. Yes. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sheila Karuna. Welcome to Sassy Seer Sheila. Well, that's where I'm doing this live. If you are watching this on New Light Streaming Love, it is a recording because I can only go live at one place at a time with Zoom. Oh, Lady Hawk, hello. I noticed that you had said the other day that you had missed the live, so I was wondering if you would be here today. Welcome. So glad to have you. Um, and I decided that this is going to be a full-on, uh, I've been doing them kind of well, it's not very, it doesn't end up being short. Nothing's ever short with me, but um it's been a more condensed in terms of cards over the last few days, or well, the last few times that I've done this. But I woke up this morning and I don't know, it just feels like something's changed. I really, there's nothing I can put my finger on specifically. It is something within me. I'm certain of it. Um, I actually alluded to it in the video that I recorded for Astro Butterfly for the full moon, which I figured out was today. And so it may have something to do with today's astrology being a grand fire trine, which I don't know that much about astrology. Become the elixir. Let your glow do the heavy lifting. Well, I like that. Because I ain't heavy lifting nothing. Let's just put it that way. There'll be no more of that heavy lifting. That's off the table now. But yeah, I started wondering if maybe that didn't have something to do with it. Um, I do know that fire initiates. Um, so I don't know. We'll see, huh? As the day goes on, as the week carries out. I don't know, but something does feel like it's shifted within me. And, again, what that will mean over any period of time is anybody's guess. Ooh, surrender to passion. Ooh, couldn't we all use a little bit more passion on our life? Get out of your head and feel the fire in your belly. Focus on the people or activities that ignite your passion and let it flow. Yes, I'm always saying move towards that which brings you joy. Whatever draws you, move to that, because that's where it's at, man. The trouble has been of late, and my housemate just alluded to it recently here for herself as well. There's not been enough fun, right? And I have to agree with her. Everything has seemed so serious and so heavy. And okay, I get it. Stuff is serious and it is heavy. But golly gee, I'm 63. I don't want stuff to be serious and heavy anymore. So I'm all about that. Let's get out of our head and figure out. So there's going to be some change up in my field, and I don't know what that means or what it will look like. because most things cost money, right, to do. But there's all kinds of stuff that doesn't. And so I'm going to see what happens there. Oh, wow. I should have known they would make this actually fell out as I was shuffling. The topsy turvets, they are also on the back of the cards, and they always show up when there's a lot of chaos in the field. And boy, can't we agree that there is a lot of chaos in the field right now. On the general, there's really not in my own personal, but this is always meant to be a personal reading for me, but also for the collective. Always, always, always for the collective. So I'm not at all surprised. And for some reason, the fairies want to have another card come, not just the Turvets. So let's see who else, because I'm nudged to somebody else wants to show themselves. Who? Let's go. Let's have a jumper here, shall we? Okay. Oh, okay. Now this makes sense why the maiden showed herself as well. Now, she's card number 14, but that is a 5 numerologically, which speaks to change. And for me, and the topsy turvets is card 51, which is a 6 numerologically, which also speaks to balance and harmony. So, isn't that interesting? It's almost as though you would think that balance, harmony, love would be presented with this card, not change, right? Okay, there. Okay, so what I'm getting within me about this is that, well, things are never what they seem anyway, right? Not at all. Always, always, always looking deeper, right? For what isn't readily available. Wow, there's something about the fact that these two cards, their numbers, it's like you would think she would represent love, harmony, balance, the maiden, not change necessarily, right? Because she's cute and she's pretty and she's so lovable, right? Where these guys, they can present in any manner of ways, shapes, and forms, right? So that's very interesting to me. And the fact that I was called back to that deck to pull another one out, that's also very interesting to me. So, very interesting. If you have not, because Lady Hawk, I know you're kind of new to the channel. I had a lovely conversation yesterday with a gal by the name of Elisa Chastain. I hope you guys will take the opportunity to get to know her. Her channel is called The Rebel Crone, and she actually did a bit of an interview with me that I just figured out how to link to. So you'll find that on the channel as well. Oh, interesting. The Divine Animals Oracle, the tiger, which is will, presented itself here. But do take a listen to that and check out her channel because she knows what she's doing. I don't. So, there's not my guidance has not been to learn necessarily or figure out how to pretty this up or any of that kind of stuff. So there's no editing here. There's no, I really don't know how to social media stuff. You know what I mean? So this is, all I know is that I was nudged to record and share stuff, conversations, public work, that sort of thing. And that's really all my channels are. And I say it like it's nothing, but that's not true. It isn't just nothing. Um, but it's certainly not as cool and sophisticated as some other channels, and that's okay too. I used to have a little ego problem with that, but I don't want the responsibility of all that either. So there's that. Again, I'm not doing this for anything other than my own uh my own guidance, my own edification. I've said many times that this right here, what I'm doing right now with y'all, this is mostly 12-year-old Sheila talking to herself in the mirror, trying to figure stuff out. And if it helps you, that's a win-win situation. Now that's the other thing about being drawn too, right? Like if you're drawn here, then chances are there's something here for you. Ooh, the Ancient Ones came out. This is the Journey of Love deck. And boy, oh boy, that card is feeling very similar to that card for me. I don't know. We'll have to see what they say there. Ooh, a lot of movement in that card. So anyway, oh, I didn't say, but today is Wednesday, June the 11th. Oh my goodness. Hold on, y'all. I'm getting a phone call from my daughter-in-law. Hey, sweetie heart, don't say anything. I'm live on YouTube right now. Is anything going on? Can I call you right back?
Yes.
Okay, do I need to stop my live and call you right now?
No, you're okay.
Okay, so about an hour?
That's fine.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, I didn't want to ignore that call just in case. I don't get called very often, so when I get called, I want to answer. Okay, so at any rate, what was I saying? I don't even know. That's interesting. Wow. And now I'm dying to know. um, oh, I know for one thing, today is book club, and I'm excited about that. We haven't gotten together in a bit, so I'm excited about our book club. And if any of you are interested in joining a book club in the next couple of weeks, we will be starting another one. There's actually an ongoing book club, and then I also want to start a second one that we will be reading the Celestine Prophecy. There's a whole set of books for that because I'm convinced that that's a remembering more than a fiction. I haven't read the book. I saw the movie, and I really would like to. And boy, oh boy, this card looks a lot like both of these cards too. So that's very interesting to me. And this one wants to go first because today's full moon I don't know if you can see that, but that's very much a full moon type of card, if you ask me. And that's quite interesting there. That's from the Alchemy Elementals deck. It is water, ocean, moon. Very interesting that. Water, ocean, moon on page 39. And that's a 3 numerologically. Page 39. I never know which one of these cards wants to be first. Wait a minute, that's not correct. That can't be right. Water, ocean, moon. It does say 39. That's not the same card. Okay, did I discover an error in this book? I think I did. This is a newer deck for me. And that is not okay. It's on page 35, which is an 8 numerologically, which for me is the upward facing infinity symbol, which is all about manifestation, materialization, right? Okay, that's very interesting. I found an error in this book. It's not on page 39, it's on page 35. So there exists a deep well of knowledge within our emotions and our intuition. But there is no shortcut to these treasures. The only way to access this wisdom is to journey into the deepest depths of ourselves and to trust the subtle, sensitive truths that await us there. This knowledge is delicate. Sometimes it is only half formed, molded out of metaphor, image, symbol, and feeling. Oh, that's so true. I was just speaking on that the other day. And I actually did a video about it as well. My own personal guidance speaks to me in ways that I know for a fact I have accidentally misinterpreted. Now, that does not mean that my guidance was wrong. It wasn't wrong. Anybody and everybody can tell you that there's no, in 2017, right after I started my first YouTube channel, I got the inner guidance that the name Karuna, my last name, that I was going viral, that I would be going viral. And I actually said to my grown child and his dad, I said, listen, because he and I were separating and about to be divorced. And I said, my inner guidance has said that I'm going to go viral. If you guys want me to change my last name, tell me now, because I will do that in the divorce, but I'm going to be who I am and I'm going to say my real name on the internet. And if you don't want me to do that, tell me now. Well, they both laughed at me and said, sure, you're not going viral. Don't do that. So I didn't. Well, it didn't happen. I haven't ever gone viral. However, fast forward to 2020. If I'm not mistaken, Corona did go viral. And so I feel like this is exactly what this is uh, illuminating for all of us. It's not that our inner guidance is wrong. It could be that we misinterpret signs, signals, metaphors in which the universe uses to communicate. Because I'm the way my operating principles at the moment are that every single thing in my environment endeavors to communicate with me, that it is another part of me that informs me of and guides me along my way. And so I love that that is saying this right smack out loud. Sometimes it is only half formed, molded of metaphor, image, symbol, and feeling. Trust the knowingness that exists inside you. Dare to perceive what is hidden and can only be found through your intuition. Do not doubt this knowledge and do not doubt your ability to access it. Your confidence is the key to unlocking the secrets that lie within. And that is so true. I have to tell you, when I first started on this quest of, just who the hell do I think I am? Who are all of us, right? I was marveling at my housemate, Lisa, because she had an entire team that would guide her. I was really kind of jealous. I wanted that too. I wanted someone that could, guide me, that would speak to me and guide me and all of that. And I didn't think I was connected, right? And she just laughed. She's so sweet to me. She's if you're still breathing, you're connected. And it wasn't that I didn't have guidance. I wasn't listening. I wasn't asking questions. I wasn't really being still. And that's also what doing this, doing these readings has been about for me. Developing that listening. These are all tools in many ways to assist me in hearing me, in paying attention to all of my surroundings. Oh, I love that. Okay, so the next card that wants to be read is this Ancient Ones, the card 52, which is a 7 numerologically, because they are very similar in color. And let's just see what this has to say. The Ancient Ones. Your spiritual growth is now acknowledged and witnessed by the heavenly ones that see beyond time and space into the reality of your soul. Do not lose heart if your spirituality is not fully acknowledged, understood, or appreciated by those around you in the physical world as yet. That is kind of tough when you start experiencing this stuff and you have loved ones and friends and whatever that just look at you like you kind of lost your mind, that kind of thing. And they're like, oh, yeah, okay, just not real sure about that. But in truth, I was trying to share way too much, way too soon. I was very excited about all of the things I was learning about myself. And so I totally get it now that I kind of overshared a little too quickly. So there's that, but that's something I have a tendency to do is overshare. So, though they may love you, it is most likely that their vision is still bound by time and space, and they cannot see into the very real gains that you have made in the subtle worlds where all true spiritual growth begins. So the ancient ones reach out to you and bring this message, quote, we see you, beloved. We honor your growth. It is real, it is palpable, and soon it will manifest fully in the physical world with breathtaking beauty. We honor your light. Namaste. End quote. This oracle brings guidance that you have taken a leap in personal growth. If you are still testing it in the physical world, trying to translate your inner changes into outer experiences, which is what I was doing, take heed. It's only a matter of time before you see reflected back to you in your physical world what you have become within. I think that's true too. Is that part? That's part of what I think I was feeling, the shift within me that I was describing in the video that I recorded this morning about the full moon. Interesting. And you will see it mirrored back to you in the eyes of those around you in sacred relationship too. Here's wishing you some sunshine the day after the rain. That's interesting. It was raining here yesterday. Here's a hug of understanding when life seems filled with pain. Here's knowing that emotion like wind blows many ways, and our course will seem more certain with the dawn of each new day. Ooh, how cool is that? Oh, I love that. Okay. So the next card that wants to be read is from the Hero's Journey Dream Oracle. This other one that I felt was very similar to this one here, Become the Elixir. It's card number 50. Again, that's numerologically a 5. So to me, that's similar to this Maiden card here, because it speaks to change. Fives for me always speak to change. Become the elixir. Let your glow do the heavy lifting. There's a quote here from James Turrell. This wonderful elixir of light is the thing that actually connects the immaterial with the material, that connects the cosmic to the plain everyday existence that we try to live in. The message here: you've had life-altering experiences. Yep. Learned libraries worth of knowledge and are now incalculably wealthy, spiritually and otherwise. It probably feels selfish to keep all this life affirming wisdom to yourself. If you could, through osmosis, you would transmit the contents of your journey, every existence, trial, and reward to every person you meet. And yet, if you share when uninvited, because that's what I did, your gifts will fall upon deaf ears. And trust me, they did. Honor the wisdom you've earned and learned while honoring the people in your circle of life by remembering that you are the elixir. Without having to say a word or do a single thing, you are the medicine. And that I have discovered is true. Regardless, I don't have to say a word, and none of us do. If we've done our internal work, looking at the traumas, healing shadows, that sort of thing, just being in another's presence offers that to them, because I carry it in my field. I emit all of that healing that I've done for myself. Whether or not they're ready for it is the question, right? And if they're not ready for it, who am I to try to force it upon them? That's not fair on any sort of level. Because maybe they haven't chosen to do that yet. Maybe they don't choose at all. And again, who am I to decide what's right for someone? Believe you me, I've done enough of that in my life. trying to control the outcomes of things for people. No, that's no longer who I am. Honor the wisdom you've earned and learned while honoring the people in your circle of life by remembering that you are the elixir. Without having to say a word or do a single thing, you are the medicine, blessing, and presence that soothes the hearts, minds, and souls of all you meet. You are so steeped in that elixir that you do the work simply by being, beaming, and showing up. There's a dream symbol here, medicine. Dreams of medicine denote a transformation is underway. You can't heal what you can't feel. The place where there has been pain is now getting attention, light, and awareness required to restore balance and elevate the wound into sacred wisdom. This is not only a gift for you, but one to be shared with the world. I feel that's true for all of us, regardless of what we do or how we move through life. There's a mantra associated with this card. The elixir encoded within me is now being courageously transmitted. Wow. That feels very specific too, because I've had an awful lot of I've had a lot of pain, and I know that it's associated with this portion of my neck right here, which I've been shown is the communication superhighway for the body. The spine is the vessel's communication superhighway. It's where the central nervous system is in the spine, and that is a part of what is, in my view, expanding and upgrading in the human vessel. Because as we pull in more light, because that's what's coming, flooding the planet, electromagnetics and light, um, it it just activates more and more. And that's what I keep being shown. Okay, so the surrender to passion. I love this card for a lot of reasons. Like I said, when I got up today, I felt a shift within me. Still don't really have a clue as to what it means, or what will present itself. But I had this strong urge to, um, and actually, my housemate alluded to it last night too, to not do the things that I've always done, right? To if you feel like you've been like stuck in a rut, well, part of the idea of that is to do something different. You know, try something different, you know. So I'm not quite sure exactly what will I will try different, but I'm gonna try something different. I tried something different today. I've never actually worn this necklace, which was made for me by one of my collaborative partners of New Light Streaming Love, um, Crystal J. Hemphill, who, by the way, is still recovering from spinal surgery. Um, and I'm going to have an update on that. Hopefully, tomorrow, I'm going to do a short video about everything that she's been going through. And yeah, she made this for me, and I've never worn it up here like this before, and I was nudged today to do that. So that's very interesting. To me, it is anyway. So from the Divine Animals Oracle, the Tiger card wanted to come out. This is the key word on this card is will. And you could see there that Durga is there on writing on the back here. Exercise your will and determination in ethical ways. Do not place your will over another's. You do not have to control. You do not have control over anyone but yourself. Do not be afraid to be fierce, especially as a woman. We can ride our healthy tiger, but we must eventually transform it into something more useful. This is also interesting to me because I had a Zoom coffee date yesterday morning with my sister who does not live here locally. And she shared with me a picture that she uses on her Facebook page that is a woman on the back of a tiger, a snow tiger. And so I find this very interesting that this come out today like this. The mythos, Durga came riding into people's lives on the back of a snarling tiger. She was a warrior and carried weapons to subdue and destroy, yet her face was serene and calm. It was the evils of life she was after, the false illusions, the damaging rage, the petty jealousies, greed, and anything that the will may choose to harm. The Hindu goddess Durga is the embodiment of the powerful feminine energy of Shakti, and she wields it mightily to make the way clear. She protects the natural order of nature and the nature of the self. She rides her tiger to preserve the will we have towards what good we can do and towards subduing the negative parts of our will that we may wish to place upon others, so we are not controlled by these impulses. Coming from a place of abuse and trauma, I recognize now that my need to control others around me stem from that. And so as I have learned to sit with these things that obviously don't have any sort of control over me in these moments of now, and see how a lot of that was responses to programmed conditions and those traumatic things, is been a very interesting ride for me in that respect. It certainly has freed me in many, many ways. She swings her 8 arms and destroys what is evil. Not only does Durga grab the tiger by the tail, she rides it. The animal, one of the most recognizable animals on earth due to their markings, the tiger is part of the Panthera genus. Tigers are the largest of the big cats, and even tigresses are capable of taking down prey in excess of their own body weight. Tigers are found in Russia, Asia, and India, with the largest populations in the latter. They are diurnal, carnivorous hunters, eating small to medium prey such as antelopes, pigs, monkeys, and deer, and sometimes birds and fish. They tend to be binge eaters and consume huge amounts of flesh, up to 30 kilograms in one setting. They are good swimmers. Tigers are territorial and range over very big territories, enjoying a variety of habitats. This has become a problem as most tigers now live in countries where the populations of humans is dense and their habitat has been much reduced. Tigers have been known to kill and eat humans, but this usually occurs when they are being hunted by humans. Well, I would say that makes the humans fair game, if you ask me, but that's just me. The magic. Tiger magic is wild and mysterious. It is the energy we can use to counter jealousy, threat, and rage. It is highly protective and helps us find a more resourceful way to deal with difficult situations and people. Tiger magic is feminine in aspect, and women can use it to help them gain confidence and to find their healthy fierceness. Um, there's something here for me in regards to will. And it's not lost on me that my daughter in law called in the middle of a live, which has never happened. Very interesting. Lady Hawk said, I'm an artist and was thinking about doing a tiger. Think might do one now. Oh, I love that. My mother was an artist. I would love to see some of your artwork, Lady Hawk. So you'll have to send me an email, consciousconversationcentral@gmail.com, and share some of your artwork if you feel so inclined. I would love to see that. So the topsy turvets are going to be first here because they did come out first, and the maiden was really kind of screaming, "Me, you know, come back, come back, come back." So we're going to go with the topsy turvets first. This is from Brian Froud and Jessica Macbeth's The Fairies Oracle. Brian Froud was the head designer for Jim Henson's Muppets for the movie The Labyrinth. And when I found this deck, I saw another reader on YouTube using this deck, and I just love this deck. I think he did make one other deck, but it's not in print, and I haven't ever been able to find a copy of it, but someday I know I will, because that movie is one of my all-time favorites. So I got to see it in theaters when I took my 5-year-old to go see it. That's that's how old he is, actually. So card number 51, the topsy turvets. The key phrases here are change of viewpoint, fresh looks, new ways of seeing. When life is confusing, the turvets may come to visit you. Nothing draws them like a bit of mental muddle. They don't cause our disarray. We are very good at doing that for ourselves and each other. But they are attracted to to they are attracted to it. Confusion is an important stage of growth, and they delight in helping things to grow. They live everywhere. Not only humans need their help and are exceedingly busy. Fortunately, they are quite prolific, so there are quite a lot of them. When the topsy turvets show up, it indicates that someone needs to look again, to make an effort to see things from a different point of view. I always say that there's always more than one perspective that we could, should we allow ourselves a few moments to see from. I didn't used to think that was true. I used to think that, well, there's only one truth. So it's either true or it's false. And that's not at all true. I now understand that things can be both at once. because we actually live in a multidimensional universe. It is not all one thing. That's been one of the things that was part of the programming and conditioning all of us have been subjected to in multiple different ways and unique ways to each one of us, which is why I say that it's we all see things from our individual, very unique perspectives anyway, regardless of what we might think. All of us perceive things completely uniquely. I have learned that now. I had to learn it the hard way, but I did learn that. So perhaps it's okay, yeah, perhaps we have made some assumptions that are incorrect and we have run into a brick wall built of those misconceptions. The Turvets ask us to back up, to question our assumptions, and to try to see things from the viewpoints of other people involved in our muddle. That is also something else that, since I've been on this quest to get to the truth of who I am, that I've figured out for myself. Because every single being on this planet has been through that programming and conditioning. As programming and conditioning is installed, little bits and pieces of trauma happen. We have a tendency to think of trauma as something horrific happening in a shock, in a flash, and that created trauma, and that's just not true. I've now witnessed in the eyes of a child the very moment a fracture begins. And it's so innocent. It was never meant to be there by the person in the situation that was happening. It was not something that person set out to accomplish. It wasn't meant to cause a fracture or a trauma, but it did. And I saw it right then and there. And so that showed me very clearly how every single being on this planet, as we are being taught by our parents, that how this happens, and it builds over time as we learn how to speak, as we learn how to, what's the proper way to behave in public, those kinds of things. They build upon them. And so for me, realizing that that's true, realizing that everybody has a different perspective based on all of their experiences, that's made such a huge difference for me in interacting with people. I don't hold everybody to the same standards that I might hold myself to, because they didn't grow up with my parents or in my situation. They even with my siblings, even though we were all raised in the same environment, it was from a different point of view, a different perspective inside that physical vessel. So is once I slowed myself down, that's why I love what this says here. Back up, question our assumptions, and try to see things from the viewpoints of other people involved in our muddle. They ask us to let go of our attachment to our own point of view, to stop saying ought and should, because I caught myself doing a whole lot of that. Well, he ought to know. He's a grown man. He ought to know that kind of stuff, right? No, not necessarily. Not in the same way I know. especially about other people. Most emphatically, they suggest that we start trying to see things as they really are instead of as someone thinks they should be. This card is a warning that someone involved in the question or issue at hand is mentally upside down or possibly sideways. And because of what I see going on the world stage right now, boy, isn't it easy to see that a lot of that is so. In a reading, the Turvets suggest that things need to be looked at from another angle. We need to back off from our emotional entanglement and look anew. Much of the apparent confusion about the issue is caused by a faulty point of view. Get the opinions of honest others and then relook at your own. Defensiveness and denial may be causing much difficulty. Try imagining that you are looking at the situation from the point of view of each of the others involved. This is not an exercise in deciding how the other ought to see things, but in discovering how they really do. Words like ought to see that are not useful at this time. If the Turvik card shows up and another point of view does not readily suggest itself, it may be useful to draw another card, which isn't that funny. The deck called me back and asked to have this card come out as well. And it's the Maiden, which is card number 14. Like I said, which is a 5 numerologically. And the key words, key phrases associated with this card are auspicious, beginnings, birth, growth, joy, hope. From her crown of light to her star jeweled toes, the maiden is pure joy. She is the face of the force that generates growth throughout all the worlds. When she smiles, troubles melt. Where she dances, flowers spring from the ground and burst into bloom. It is from the maiden that the pixies learned the dance that keeps the other world turning, and probably our world too, for that matter. She is newly born every morn, and she carols her Pelagianate song of growth for all beings in all the worlds. She sees the magic and the light in everything and takes endless delight in it. Well, isn't that interesting that this card wanted to come out after the Turvets? And okay, wow, I was just shown myself doing the video that I did. I've recorded several things this morning, but the video I did about it being the full moon, the fact that it's a fire trine, and that I said something feels like it's shifted within me. So very interesting that, isn't it? She sees the magic and the light in everything and takes endless delight in it. Even though the maiden is so wonderful and powerful, she is a child and she needs to be cared for, nurtured, and cherished. When she takes the form of a flower, someone must see that she gets enough water and sun. Whenever we look at something new or young, we are caring for the maiden. No, wait a minute. New or young, we are, no, it says we are caring for the maiden, whether she is in the form of a blossom, a sapling, a baby, or a new idea. She, in turn, is likely to switch between joyfully and gratefully receiving such nurturing and insisting on an independence that she really isn't ready for yet. She knows deep within herself what she needs to do and become, and she moves toward this with the directness of a child. The maiden also has the simplicity and curiosity of a child. Now, I'm being reminded here of the fact that I had that conversation yesterday with Elisa Chastain from the Rebel Crone. And that not, let's see, was it about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, I created a little ceremony for myself as I stepped into my own role as a crone. And for me, that also carries, which I know sounds a little bit weird, but it also carries a bit of the maiden because it's almost, I know in terms of old people, it's a second childhood, but it's not that. It's more of a returning to the awe, allowing that to be present and welcomed. I don't know if that's making any sense, but I was just flash that whole thing. The maiden has the simplicity and curiosity of a child, seeing with unclouded eyes. She has an openness to life, love, new things, and new experiences. Oh, I know why I'm feeling that way, because I really didn't have much of a childhood either. So, in many ways, this stepping into my cronehood has been all about bringing my inner child to life within me, embracing my inner artist, Lady Hawk. My mother was always the artist in the family, and I didn't think I could be much of an artist, but I've embraced that art is so very subjective. It is in the eye of the beholder as to whether or not it should be considered or could be considered art. And if I enjoy it and I love what I'm doing, then it's for me to do. And wow, okay, so that's very interesting too. Every moment with her is an adventure filled with playfulness and hope. Innocent, she is awakening to and learning about the world. I do feel like there's a particular part of me that is very much like that. Much of her learning comes with laughter and silly jokes, and she trusts what life gives her. Every time we allow ourselves to be filled with joy, we become more like the maiden. The, there, ever since we moved, my wall behind me is stark and empty. I, it, if you look at older videos on this channel, you will see that I'm all about the joy, man, all about the joy. And so much so that I actually created a hanging sign back there that said joy. It was just a whole thing. The maiden signifies new beginnings and growth. You couldn't ask for a more auspicious card than this if you are beginning something new. Spontaneity, joy, growth, exhilaration, and promise for the future are signified here. We must note also that in the early stages of any process, there is vulnerability and a need for protection, shelter, and guidance. But there is also a magical impetus toward burgeoning growth. Trust the process. Take care of the details as well. The maiden is also the inner child who needs to be under the supervision of a competent inner adult in order for her to feel secure and loved. She is not happy when we spoil her. Consider what is growing in your life. Make a list of your hopes, dreams, and plans. Look for the growth within you and think about how you can cherish and nurture that. Bless the growth you see around you. Well, one of the things that I am hoping that I will be able to begin to really grow is I had been planning on doing some traveling, and a viewer was kind enough to gift me a van. I didn't have transportation, and I wanted to be able to, put my studio in a like camper or something like that, and be able to travel and meet folks and do a little van life kind of thing. I have no responsibilities and whatnot. So I have the van. Unfortunately, the folks that I thought were going to be doing the inside of the van kind of took my money and disappeared. But you know how those kind of things go. And so at this point, though, really, it's just a little bit of assistance of lifting and arranging some things in there and making sure it would be safe for that travel. So it is my goal in many ways to begin to see about doing some of that. Hopefully, well, I don't know. We'll see. It's a little different, when you are surviving on a very fixed income. But I also know that if it is for me to do, a way will be made, because so far that's what I've experienced here with my life thus far. So I hope this was helpful for you if you found yourself drawn here. It certainly was for me, and quite synchronistic. I love that so many of these cards really seemed to go together, if you ask me, specifically with what today is being the full moon. And like I said, if you haven't seen the video that I did about the full moon earlier today, you might be a little surprised to see the synchronicity of all of what was talked about here. So that's it for this one. Thanks, guys, for being here, Lady Hawk. It was really cool to have you here today, and I look forward to hopefully to seeing your picture of your tiger when you do that. I'm hoping we had kind of discussed, my housemate and I last night kind of discussed maybe the idea of taking a Bob Ross painting class sometime very soon. And if that happens, I'll be sharing with you guys what we experience there. So I don't know that that will happen for me, but we'll just have to wait and see. So I hope that you will move towards that which brings you joy in each moment that presents itself to you, because it really is just a matter of perspective. And if you're not feeling overly joyous in that moment, I have found for myself, like I said, there's always more than one way to see a thing and to take something in. And maybe that's the time that we kind of step back, take a moment, and look from a different perspective and see if there isn't a more joyous perspective to view that through. Until we meet again, my friends, be well.